Have you ever heard someone say it's just a drop in the bucket?
They usually mean that one drop has a small impact on something large like a bucket.
But what happens when every drop has a negative impact and those drops don't go away? They keep adding up.
The Salish Sea is an inland sea that has sustained people since time can remember. The Salish lifeway depends on the Salish Sea for food, transportation, and the cultural identity, but there are many threats to the Salish Sea.
Oil spills, marine shipping, biotoxins, noise pollutions, habitat destructions from anchors, lost and abandoned fishing gear, overfishing, and more.
Each one of these threats might be minor and affect just one plant or animal in the Salish Sea. But these plants and animals are connected, and if we look for them, the threats can add up.
To protect the environment, it is important to observe connections between things. The connections can be very complex, and some threats happen over very large areas.
When threats add up and affect many plants and animals over space and time, this is called the cumulative effects.
Effects add up in three ways. Effect extends beyond a single plant or animal. For example, microscopic plankton can produce toxins. The toxic plankton is eaten by bigger plankton and can be eaten by clams. The clams can then be toxic to animals that eat them, including humans.
The effects add up with other effects.
The effects add up over time. We're talking about days, 2 years, to millennia.
For example, eelgrass is a plant that grows on a sandy ocean floor all around the Salish Sea. It plays a special role in the ecosystem as a habitat for many young fish, crabs, clams, and other life.
But one of those threats to eelgrass is anchors from boats. Eelgrass grows in shallow bays where recreational boaters like to anchor. When boaters drop an anchor on the eelgrass, it disturbs the roots and crushes any life that cannot move away quickly. When boaters pull up the anchor, it often rips the eelgrass out of the sand, leaving a bare patch behind.
The fish and crab and clams that were living in that spot have lost their homes. If they survive the impact, they have to move to a new neighboring eelgrass. It is important to look at the cumulative effects of the anchors. Anchoring in the eelgrass can affect the animals that live in the eelgrass.
Now, what if there was a ship passing nearby carrying oil? It hits a reef and causes an oil spill, and the oil slick drifts into the bay of damaged eelgrass.
The eelgrass is already struggling, and the animals living in it are too. We must consider the cumulative effect of the two threats, oil spill and anchoring. The eelgrass could be able to grow back after an anchoring damage is left to heal. The oil spill might only affect certain patches of the meadow, and the others could survive.
But together, it may be too much for the eelgrass, the fish and the crabs and the clams to recover from.
Cumulative effects can help us see interactions and connections. Living things have connections to each other and the threats they face.
We can use cumulative effects as a tool to understand the environment. This tool can show us ways to help protect the environment. It helps us see the connections between living things. It reminds us to consider the effects that add up over time. Some threats will add up and have bigger impact than they would on their own. Cumulative effects help us better protect the complex relationships in the Salish Sea and the lifeways it sustains.
It's not just a drop in the bucket.